Okay, so I've just come across a video posted by National Action. National Action is a neo-Nazi far-right group here in the UK. They're a pretty small group. They don't have a very large membership. And like most far-right fringe groups, they are focused on pumping out conspiracy theories, anti-foreigner bile, and they basically operate through violence and intimidation. As far as I'm concerned, they're scum and a bunch of terrorist thugs. And I use the word terrorist because they are driven to ideological violence. Now that's terrorism. Um, I've just watched a video where posted by them, in fact, and the thing about these people is they're so degenerate and so extreme in their ideology that they don't even try to hide what they're presenting. You get other right wing groups that kind of have a PR campaign and so on and try to say we're not racist and so on. These people don't give a damn about their reputation, and in my view, that I was going to say it makes them more dangerous. It makes them more idiotic for sure, because it means that they'll always keep themselves a very small and very nasty organization. But as far as I'm concerned, when an organization like this makes an appearance in a town or city centre, the police need to take action because they are directly advocating violence. This is not about freedom of expression because they're actually advocating violence. That goes beyond a simple opinion. It is about a, something that it goes beyond that to action. And there is proof of this in the video because there was a busker in Newcastle city centre, not far from where I live, um, and he was playing during their little stunt. Now, okay, maybe he was deliberately trying to disrupt them, and I say good for him. This man is brave. He was trying to disrupt a bunch of fascist thugs. They were up there at Gray's Monument, which is a monument for British democracy, celebrates the Great Reform Act of 1832. These fascist traitors got up there and, like true cowards, they covered their face, but of course were all dressed in black, openly unfurling a banner of Hitler, you know, a dictator who rained bombs on this country, killed 69,000 people in this country, and these thugs, one of them went over and tried to rough up the um the saxophone player. So I think they're toxic. I think they're utterly toxic. I know I'm not a Marxist. I'm not even a left winger, but I will call out extremism wherever it is, and groups like this disgust me to the core. I'm not overly worried about them because they are still pretty small, but wherever they are, they do need to be challenged. And you don't need to be a Marxist or a communist or a far left individual to see that. I call out the far left in equal proportion. The far left can also be thuggish and violent and intolerant. Those of us who are reasonable and level headed need to root out extremism wherever it is, whether that be Islamist extremism, whether it be far right extremism, whether it be neo Nazi extremism, or whether it be far left extremism. Wherever it rears its ugly head, it needs to be challenged. People can have differences of opinion. I'm not saying let's all get round and have a cup of tea. People can have differences of opinion. People can have strong views, but there is a line. And when you cover your face, when you use violent intimidation to get your way, and when you actively advocate a murderous, genocidal dictator who rained bombs on this country, then, as far as I'm concerned, you're a terrorist. Um, any one of them could be a potential Anders Breivik. So really, I think the police need to take action against them for inciting racial violence. And in this particular time, now this will happen in January, but I do think that I wouldn't blame foreigners for being quite concerned right now because groups like this are going to get a voice and they are going to be a lot more vocal right now. Um, so responsible leave campaigners need to be speaking out right now against them. Responsible leave figures need to be reassuring foreigners living in Britain, saying we are not them, and please don't feel intimidated, and you're welcome here. Um, to those who are here legally and those who are, yeah. Incidentally, one of their slogans, they said 35,000 refugees have arrived in the UK since 2014. We have a population of 65 million. Okay, so just do the math. 35,000 out of 65 million is nothing. Newcastle is a changed city. Newcastle, in fact, the Northeast in general, has one of the proportionally lowest intakes of refugees and foreigners. Um, we're not Birmingham, we're not London. Um, Newcastle is a cosmopolitan city, and as far as I'm concerned, may it long continue to be so. These knuckle dragging Neanderthal thugs, um, they're a bunch of cards because they work in strength in numbers. They always gang up on people, and they're absolute scum as far as I'm concerned. My last girlfriend was Chinese. Now, if one of these filthy, I'm not going to use polite language. I think they're degenerate thugs. If they were to harass me when I was with her, I'll be honest, I could potentially be getting into a situation where I would be arrested for assault because bullies and thugs like this need to be stood up to. And, they're degenerates. They're just degenerate fucking fascists. That's it. And, sometimes that term is thrown around and it's thrown around unfairly. In this case, that is absolutely what they are. Um, that's absolutely what they are, and I don't think you could dispute it. I'll put a link to their video, not because I want to promote them, but because I want to show people the sort of mentality that we're talking about. There is a legitimate debate to be had about immigration, about refugees, about all sorts of issues, the clash of values, all that sort of thing. It's a very important debate, and we need to talk about it. If for if for one reason to put these people to the sidelines, because if responsible figures don't talk about these important issues and they don't talk about issues that are arising, such as certain migrant men coming with very bad values and thinking that European women are free game and so on, if those issues aren't discussed, neo-Nazis take over. That's what happens. So we need to, they hijack that debate. So I feel sickened, to be honest, watching that, and I really hope arrests were made that day.